Hello and welcome to a seasonal map cupcast. This time another Automatch cast. We have Sotjador on the north end of Arnhem checkpoint on OKW running Firestorm with special operations and Luftwaffe, so no fortifications for him, with the 2% increased armor pen, 3% faster vehicle rotation on the Raketen, more increased pen by 4% on the Raketen, and then the P2 increased armor by 5%. In the south end, we've been following him all day for those of you who are in the live cast and not on the YouTube, where we're going to upload these later on today. Our Soviet player running guard motor, guard rifle, and shock rifle with triple conscript bulletins, the 3% increased reload, accuracy, 2% faster between shots, and reload. In the south end, and it's going to be cons. It's party for him. Combat engineers going to meet Sturm pioneers in the middle, and those conscripts that were headed up with them really regret not moving on over, but those combat engineers are going to have to abdicate the fountain on the middle VP and hop into the church to try and combat these Sturm pioneers. Conscripts trying desperately. One model dropped on the combat engineers, 50% HP. Conscripts grab at the territory point that serves as their cutoff. Conscripts then now going to fire from house to house for the next 10 years while another set of conscripts come out. So now would be a good time for anybody who's living under a rock to go ahead and show the mini map. So we have our cutoff and cutoff for the north, cuts off the whole map. And then we have the cutoff and the cutoff in the north that cuts off the entire south of the map. You see typically this one and this one contested for the west, not really so much in the east from my experience on this map. Also, we have to deal with the wonderful 3 million garrisons that are all full HP plaster cobblestone mixes, which is great. For both of these factions. Now, Soviets do have a little bit of an up on the fact that they can go into the support weapon and go ahead and get the PM41, whereas the OKW player really doesn't have any actual way of clearing garrisons outside of the incendiary on the Volksgrenadiers until the first truck comes on in. So we will have to wait for all of that, and for those of you who are wondering. It also costs them munitions constantly, so it delays their STGs. Now, he does have Firestorm in his loadout, so he could go another Sturm Pioneer, maybe even leave it at 1 and go the Flammenwerfer for 35 on the Sturm Pioneers to help clear these garrisons, or head into the battle group for the ISG, but all of them not exactly the best scenario. The PM41 is just pretty valuable in and of itself, but we'll see how this moves on and out. Right now, it's looking like that our OKW player is going to be master cut and have no resource income at all.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Sturm Pioneers looking to push off here. Volksgrenadiers not firing really anything into these conscripts. Sturm Pioneers grabbing the northeast cutoff while the southwest one does change hands, and the fuel is going to change hands along with this. Now, despite having these cutoffs from our Soviet player, he has had no fuel income of his own, so he's got quite a long time ahead of him. Kubelwagen is out to help deal with the back capping and capping nonstop. It is right now engaging the conscripts just south of the VP in the center, taking quite a good chunk of damage and backs off a little bit. But every single engagement that can work for the Kubel and dropping models is just free manpower bleed, as repairing does not cost anything. And Molotov's already ready to go, not opting to go into the PM41 or anything like that straight away. He's instead going straight into Molotov's and grabbing again the northeast cutoff. Now, it is important to note that grabbing up the the northwest cutoff with the middle VP will connect you all the way around. Now, he does not control the middle, so despite getting this, it doesn't do anything for him, so he has no resources outside these two territory points. And the Soviet player is just spreading like oil on water across the map and making it harder and harder for an already hard matchup for the OKW player. And while the OKW player is interested in taking his cutoffs back, the Soviet is taking all of the actual resources that he's trying to connect to. Conscripts hanging out inside the house. Still no truck yet. Just build the truck just to have it out, even if we can't immediately place it just so you can have incendiaries, so you don't have to take fights like this anymore. Now, these conscripts will most likely lose as it is 2v1, but the damage is still going to be quite large, as you can see from the connections from the conscripts onto this squad. And a secondary conscript squad is moving up to potentially help with this. He hops out and retreats. Conscript weakened one, just passing by, firing a few volleys as they go across, vaulting across the fence, and going to go ahead and hop into the church here. It looks like the plan, while the conscripts in the north get pushed off by Stern Pioneers and the Kubelwagen. And all the way in the east, we have the fuel finally going underway, with the Kubelwagen clearly showing the path through here, running over all the grapevines. And the fuel does get neutralized, but not connected. And he does have the west fuel connected in his ways for the OKW player. But we have the first tech building coming down. It is a support weapon. Conscripts hanging out again inside the church against two sets of Volks, taking quite a good amount of damage and not really dealing much either way back. I'm curious to see what he actually builds out of here. If it's indeed going to be the PM41, I wouldn't doubt it if it was. Volks building up some green cover on the territory point, and now all of a sudden it's looking really bad for our Soviet player. RKS-3 does pop out onto the combat engineer, so this will help him clear garrisons. So this could just be his way of building into tech later on, especially with the fact it looks like he's just going to rush tier 4. I doubt he's going to build anything now with guards rifle. This should be more than enough to deter anything that's happening. Now the P2 won't be able to do a whole hell of a lot. Or, excuse me, guards will not be able to do a whole hell of a lot to a P2, as the guards do come in, and they're not getting the DP upgraded straight away, and I think that's a bit of a mistake. As soon as those get on there, it'd be good. Nice shoe mine placement onto the fuel, but double fuel income for an OKW player is the absolute dream, and this is more of a reason to go into mechanized, especially with the tell of the increased armor on the P2. These guards have a lot of work cut out for them, and the early Molotov, along with the RKS-3, it's not looking good in terms of having snares. Guards DP is being upgraded. They find a Volksgrenadier squad. If they stand right here, they can shoot into this, as this is, fun little fact, 3 buildings. So this building here cannot shoot to the south, so you can just get free damage if you stand behind these sandbags. Standing here, however, they can return fire. Kubelwagen dealing some damage to this conscript in the middle on the VP. Volksgrenadiers now have access to the incendiary nade, so he has to be careful around these garrisons. P2 getting closer and closer to the front, and this is going to be a quick game, I feel like. Outside of the absolute falling asleep at the wheel of the P2, I doubt it's going to die. Volksgrenadiers headed on home. PTRSs and the DP from the guards proving to be enough to get them out of that garrison. MG34 queued up from the OKW player, and the nade thrown down onto the sandbags. Doesn't connect, but gets them out of the cover a little bit there, and those Stern Pioneers taking way too much damage. The PTRS is actually connected. They do. Stern Pioneers go down. 300 manpower gone, and on and away. So a little bit of a gift for our OKW player, giving him a bit of a chance, especially losing those Stern Pioneers is very, very annoying, because now he has to cancel his MG34 and focus on getting another set out, so that way when he takes damage like this, he can get on and away. Still no snares yet, as far as I know, on the conscripts, and I am indeed correct. So the PTRS is trying to aim on him, get the shots here. Merge from the conscripts to keep the guards shooting for longer. Out of line of sight for both. Conscripts moving on forward. Finally getting this fuel taken back, but not without losing a few models from that shoe mine from earlier. PTRS fires into the Volksgrenadiers to hop into the house, but immediately a Molotov from the conscripts, and he's just shooting at the Volksgrenadiers instead of at the looks here. Then he's going to have to back up a little bit as the Opel Blitz truck does get destroyed from the P2's barrages. He has to retreat these guards. Yeah, he's taking so many unfortunate connections, and the STG Volks are going to pick this up for sure with a negative cover here. P2 rolling down the road. There's nothing stopping it. I would be amazed if these guards live. And by these guards, I mean this conscript, as that is clearly one. And I can't believe he didn't pick it up. RKS-3 incinerates those Volks. Both sets, STG and non-STG, head home, and the conscripts inside the building get one model and the two on the way out. Combat engineer with the Conscripts pick up another Volks Grenadier squad. Stern Pioneers trying to take on the ROKS-3 squad from inside of the house. The last thing you want to do, and now they're trying to take this engagement up close and personal. This gun being created now, and the P2 will be the victor on this. He's still trying to bait snares potentially, but if he sits here for too long, he's gonna get killed, and he does finally retreat. So the conscripts do have snares, guards, and everything are gonna have to be reinforced. 320 manpower being put into his gun, and he has just 2 territory points of income. Now this is really interesting because he's gotten 2 wipes, 550 manpower down the drain for the OKW player, but the P2 just came out so early and so unexpectedly with nothing but a soft deterrent from the guards. He just can't seem to get back onto the map. Capping these points, all that's going to lead to is the P2 rolling up. If he could hear it, he could oorah over and across and maybe get the snare, get the guards over, but he's just going to have to retreat after decapping it. He's just going to stand behind that, immediately changes his mind. The P2's nothing to be trifled with. Now, these do not block sight. These do. So once he works his way on and past these, he'll stop taking damage and get on away. Now the P2 can crush those. This setting up in the middle, I can't believe it just worked its way through there. That's unbelievable. What is this? I can't believe that. This should take up two meters of length. Nice preemptive nade though, and they catch it from the Volks. And did he see that with these conscripts? How did he know? How did he know that they were going to hop into that building? That's, I don't think he saw those. Very interesting there. Khan's firing some shots nice and close and very low HP on these Volks. The Molotov will help them win this engagement surely. And if he just stands out, it's throwing his own incendiary, but he might get wiped on retreat here if the RKS-3 just stops moving and toasts them up. And can he do it? And he does. He finds another Volk squad. All he has to do is pick up this P2 to win this game. Guards with hit the dirt here, firing into the Volks. P2 shows its face. Does get the cutoff neutralization for the east, so he does lose his munitions and 2 territory points. Volks firing freely into the guards laying down. Behind some of them behind the sandbags, some not. PTRS is still connecting. Recapping the far east fuel with the Kubel. P2 and ROKS-3 conscripts and combat engineers having a party. This gun finds a shot though. Stern Pioneers trying to do work. Combat engineers also trying to do work. But second burst from the flames there, not enough. The crew from the Zisgun picks up a model on the Stern Pioneers from what seems like light years away. And he manages to hold that cutoff. Now he has to actually get the fuel income.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Is this gun looking for the barrage? Yep. Sails over. Volks standing in the face of that. Oh, and another one sails right over. Can he get this connection? Gets the sandbags. And that one was on the money. Finds the connection, no problem on that last one. Last shot was worth. Trying to get onto the fuel over here. Nothing here to stop him. Tier 4 going down on this cutoff already. I'm very surprised he did not move this further forward, to be completely honest. Now, he can still have this decapped. And there's special operations locked in as well.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Struggling so much so to get on top of any fuel for our Soviet player. I mean, he's fighting adamantly to try and get back into this, but he's just now building tier 3. While his OKW opponent has more fuel in the bank and tier 4 already placed. With a light vehicle down. Really just tells the story of this game. Snared onto the P2 though, so it will head back home. Building's on fire along with the tree. Guards hanging out inside the church. Conscripts fighting with the Molotov here. Looks like, yeah, and there's the incendiary, and it's going to be forced to run on home. truly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is another guard squad called in.
300 points stand between us.
Already 300 VPs, the only thing that's left. Guards hit the dirt, catch an incendiary for their time. They hear the fire is good for the skin. They don't drop any models. PTRS is with the DPs. Don't find any pickup on the models from the conscripts either, or the guards rifle squad as they retreat on out. This gun was looking for the P2. P2 does get repaired, gets that damage engine off, and has to be pushed on and away, bullied off the map from the Stern Pioneers. And there's the show of the Tier 4. Now he does crawl out of its shot range, and guards rifle. Can they get the shot? Can the cons get the shot? Volks, they do make it out. At some point or another, the Kubelwagen go down. That's a nice secure for our Soviet player. Another Zis gun now the choice. Trying to save up into the Tier 4. P2 firing some shots into these conscripts. This gun managed to mess up an old truck. P2 still marauding across the map. This hit the dirt here in front of these Volks. Probably not the play Obersoldaten the choice now for our OKW player. And with his infantry management skills, we'll call them, I'm really surprised he's going a 4-man squad considering he's lost Stern Pioneers and Volks already. Conscripts trying to engage on these Obersoldaten. Our RKS-3 squad not feeling too good about getting nice and close. Nice snipe from them, though. Dropping one of those Obers. And these are very expensive to just sit here and kind of hang out, waiting to engage on this. Now, he is attack rounding into the fog here to get this Tier 4. STG Volks moving up for this. He needs a Maxim, and he has one. Problem is, this is sight blocked. So that Maxim not set up where he needs it to be set up at. Now, he will point it over and across, so he will get a little bit of suppression here. The Zis guns are going to move back. And he doesn't get the one squad, so he's looking for the incendiary most likely. He doesn't have the munitions. He moves on back. Tier 4 finds some shots again. He's going to look for the attack ground just outside of the ring. Hits the road. Panzer IV on the way. This gun's trying desperately to get this. They will not be able to get it in time. And that Panzer IV will come out and do so much work. P2 trying to get these squads out of the garrison here. Ziskun's so close to actually dropping this on time. If they wouldn't have missed so many shots, he would have got it. But the Panzer IV squeaks onto the battlefield at the last second. Oh, how unbelievably unlucky. If one shot more would have connected, the Panzer IV would have been canceled. So now he has a P2 and the Panzer IV to deal with just two Ziskuns and a dream. He does have the guards as well with the button, but very unfortunate. Combat engineers being replaced, lost at some point. Losing those ROKS-3 combat engineers is actually pretty bad. And there's the Panzer IV, shows his face, and he's slamming his fist down onto his desk, lamenting the Ziskun's inaccuracy to actually take care of that Tier 4 in time. Combat engineers come out and they're like, hey guys, how are you doing? Panzer IV is driving into the base. He could just stay here if he really wanted. These do block line of sight, so the Zisgun cannot see any of this. And he has no squad moving over to potentially find it. And here comes the STG Volksgrenadier Bob. We'll go ahead and make short work of the guards. Barrage coming down for the Zisgun, and all of a sudden the Zisguns need to head home as well. And they dropped them a present, the PTRS. Now the STGs do take up both weapon slots for the Volksgrenadier, so they can't pick that up, and he's just going to walk into the base. Zisgun's going to go down. Unbelievable. Today is not our Soviet player's day. He does throw down Mark to scare it on and away. P2 is going to move up for this. Khan's hanging out behind these sandbags, but it's GG. Oh, how unbelievably unfortunate. And the Zisgun's stolen right in front of him. The point-blank barrage, though, will get him the secure on this. Combat engineers died immediately. Zisgun finds a shot with the Mark. It is a huge chunk of damage. Basically, 2 of them. He doesn't drive over that TM-35. Oh, how he wishes. Meanwhile, the Maxim and the Khans, they move all the way up into the west, but the cutoff is taken for the west, and he doesn't control the VP. And one of the many issues with Arnhem is this should be connected here and allow for a connect like it does up here. But it's not balanced in that way, so cutoffs favor the north. One of the small things people don't realize. Didn't get the snare, didn't even try an Ura for it. Doesn't pick it up at all. Instead, it's busy throwing a Molotov at these Volksgrenadiers, and the Panzer IV punishes them for their insolence of not throwing a snare even, and deletes that squad. Maxim trying to set up to pretend to do damage to this B2 and the Panzer IV, and it's buying enough time for the Zisgun to find a shot, but it's going to go ahead and drop. It doesn't get death looped. It actually makes it out. Maxim, caster curse, runs away. And these Zisguns, oh, he's not even trying for the attack ground. Going to another set of combat engineers, calling in some more guards. He needs to. He might be able to make it into the tier 4, but oh, he's just so far behind. He has plenty of fuel, and he needs to get it built, and he keeps losing his combat engineers. P2 rolling over into the east. Gonna try and take on the conscripts and the guards and the Zisgun. Sight blockers here making it a little difficult. I like how he picked it up with the guards here, getting a little bit more AT onto this. So he can replace, and he did. So he gets an extra PTRS. He has 5 PTRSs out on the field. Oh, and he can't get the kill. Why don't you button? Oh, he can't afford the button. And the P2, with just the smallest little bit of HP, goes home through the Great Vineyard. And here comes the STG Vlob. And this Zisgun, it had plans. Had glorious plans. They will not be realized. Tier 4 was built back at home, though. Can he get around the sight blocker in time? No, he's just going to walk it all the way back at home. P2, excuse me, the Panzer IV rolls up, finds the guards. STG Volks might find the guards completely on the retreat path. Maxim and conscripts moving over here. He's going to spread out, try and grab this up, and it just shows you how dire straits he really is, as these conscripts are being forced to cap with 1 model left. Maxim is going to find some snare action. Don't stand on your own mine! Walks over for half a second, and it just explodes under his feet. Stray damage from the shots. Missing around their feet from the STG Volks. Blow up and almost get the cons killed from the Panzer IV, firing a volley into those combat engineers. And the conscripts, Zisgun's going to go ahead and force them on and away. Maxim's going to set up. He's not going to be able to get into range for this. And that's a really interesting shot from the Zisgun. And he does get behind the sandbags. They're barely there. And this incendiary chucked down. Maxim will go home. E2 back. Guards not wanting to deal with that. He doesn't have the manpower in any way to really help out. And what is he saving for? Tier 4 is down. T-3476 is ready to go. Is he really saving for an 85 at this point? Just build 76s. You know the Tier 4 is gone. Just build 76s. The 85, I feel like this is a mistake. I don't think he needs the 85. 2 Zis guns and a T-34-76 would be more than enough. And as soon as he gets the manpower for the second T-34-76, all of a sudden he has armor superiority. I don't agree with that in any way. No battle group from our OKW player, though. Is really, really interesting. And despite how rocky of a game this has been for Soviets, he really stopped hemorrhaging on the VPs just till now. This gun finds another shot. PTRS guards get a few volleys off. T-34-85 coming to the front as fast as it possibly can. Hopefully it can jettison him back into some map control and back into this game. And a Kettenwerfer now coming out for our OKW player, realizing it's 25 minutes in the game. There's got to be something coming. So he does build it up. Some more sandbags being built into the crater left over from the shoe mine onto that fuel. This gun headed over there for all reasons, but the 85 is ready to go. See if it can actually accomplish anything. I truly doubt it, but we'll have to wait and see. 85 shows, fires into those sandbags. Sandbags eat that shot straight away. Let's drop one model. Being a little cheeky rolling this far forward. Another shoe mine going down by the Panzer, or the Stern Pioneers. Now, I like that he moved past the sandbags here. Moving past the sandbags means even if he misses, he's going to hit the sandbags and deal even more damage. And that allowed him to get the wipe. 1 shot, 2 shot, 5 models gone. Volks Grenadiers not waking up tomorrow morning. That's the second squad of Volks lost now. 2 Rakettens was actually what was built for OKW. So he does have the counter, and even more so for me to say that he really, really needed to go into a 76. 85 doesn't find the shot. PTRS conscripts hop into the building, see the stolen Zis. There's the Command Panther now. 85 just not going to cut it. He needs another Zis gun. Trying to ram into the building. Oh, I wish it would have paid it forward here, but this might be a little ambitious for this Command Panther. As this gun fires into it, the PTRS, they need to be moving up to button this because he wouldn't have known. I think that's a little bit of a misplay. I think he could have potentially dealt a lot more damage to this. This gun needs to barrage this house now. They're ambiently healing inside of this building. That's this gun. He needs to get it back. Panzer IV now tagging out the Command Panther, finds the guards, and they button it up. This gun finds a shot. There's nothing else here to help with it, though, and now it's out of range, and he doesn't hit. It lands short. Unfortunate. Oh, and that shoe mine. Another excellent usage of his munitions. Turning that munitions into manpower bleed. Just making sure that those squads that are full health immediately drop. 1/3 of their DPS gone just like that. Maxim trying to drop this Zis gun. Doing some work. Trying to go for the cutoffs. Fuel in the way of the Soviet player, but not connected back to base. P2 is going to get that combat engineer squad to head home, and I don't think they're going to make it all the way there. With the Command Panther, STG Volks, and the P2. Combat engineers go down again. This gun queued up. Only 100 VPs left now for Soviets. Oh, and this all just seriously comes from the Zis guns missing too many shots and not getting that Panzer IV at the last second. Oh, so painful. P2, Vet 4 now. Almost, I'm sure, Vet 5. T-34-85 rolls through the side of the building, takes out the shed. Command Panther fires a shot into it, and there's the main gun destroyed again on this P2. And he rolls into the middle. He has no combat engineers to repair this, though. He's trying to bait with it, potentially. And the guard's going to hop into the building and hang out with the Volks. The Obers with the STG, the infrared ones. And the all the King's men and horses and guards and Maxims have to head on out, and the Maxim just gets dropped by the Stern Pioneers. The Obersoldat will fall along with it, and this goes down to Zis. Zis heading into the middle instead of back home, and T-3485 backing on and through, and he just throws in the towel, nice and frustrated. As for those of you on YouTube, when we do upload these, this is his third loss today, so very unfortunate. He played his heart out, though. He got so unlucky. This would have won him the game if the Zis guns wouldn't have missed. Just one shot is half a second away. It was so massively unfortunate, but either way, GG.